Would you like to hear a story my father used to tell? In quiet and still nights, he'd open a bottle of whiskey to pour long and neat. I remember clearly the dark brown liquid as it would splash around in his clean glass. That strong stench of alcohol would pierce its way into my nostrils, a sort of madman in his own way, my father. He would sit with me on those dark nights, point out the burning constellations. Hours would pass as minutes, and the longer we would sit, the more he would drink. My father could speak about such kindness with blood-red eyes. Right after Mom passed, it had gotten particularly hard. Night after night we would sit by that campfire. He would drink, and then he would preach. I loved my father. There was this old man in town, a sort of scandalous guy. He would sneak into his neighbor's gardens. They thought he was just a harmless old soul out having a bit of fun, moving small things around like gnomes and lamps. A strange fellow, he seemed to disappear and reappear at random, till dead animals started showing up. They had been cut to pieces. House pets, birds, and then deer. People in the town were horrified. They didn't have a clue as to what was happening. My father knew, so he followed him. The anger is what he could remember best, sort of heat that emanated from an ever-beating heart that lived to carry it. He would later say that that old man's temple called to him. Sneaking, flirting with his mind. So he made his way through that brush to defy that old man. Flittering figures danced through his eyesight as he carried the way to that town. Cursing angrily, he would pull out a cigarette and light it. Lungs ablaze, he moved carefully through that dark, searching for the cursed one. He came up to a decrepit shanty of a home, finding his way to the entrance. To kill or to converse, he would never say why he went to that place. The cigarette hung gently from his lips. He breathed the thing in heavily, causing sparks to break free. Embers rose gently around him. Suddenly a loud creak and a scampering of footsteps broke this serene silence. That fire returned to his belly. That escapee was fleeing into the night. The anger swelled up within him, imagining those animals that had fallen to this demon. And then came that smell, that pungent miasma. The old man would move quickly through the darkness, a sort of pilgrimage that could have been followed if the old man would have been blind. He moved as if he were an apparition trapped here by fate. My father struggled to keep up and found himself losing the old man. Desperately, he would search for an exit to that maze. Often he would stop at this point. The glass would be empty. He would hush me, slip me over his shoulder. I would feed him with my cries. Anything was fair game in this charade that I put forth, till one day I got my wish. There are things in this world that should not be. There are things that should be killed, you understand that, right? My father was lost in those treacherous woods when that beast started his dance with that devil. He just wanted the sound to stop. The old man laid his iron hammer down with fierce authority. The targets of his crimes would scream passionless while dying in agony. White owls. My father would describe how their large eyes would go blank as that hammer swung. When their light went out, they were replaced, and again that hammer would swing. What is truth? My father took on that weight. He watched as that bird was freed. Even offered freedom, it stayed. The creature glared at him. The prisoner was judging the executioner. So the hammer swung. Remove its spines. That old man stared down at my father. Free it. Once again, that feeling of anger. Free it! He just wanted the screaming to stop. So the hammer swung. The old man did not realize he had been hit at first. Stupefied, he stared at my father as the iron claw rained down on him. My father stood over that animal. Fear! Realizing his death, the old man pleaded. The blows had broken him. Bloodied, he raised his fingers and pointed at my father. That hammer swung. The old man screamed as my father smashed his head in right next to those damn owls. Small spurts of blood coated his innocent face. One by one he went to the remaining animals, freeing them from their cages. Some would scurry off. Others, afraid of rebuke, would hide in corners. A few would gawk at their savior and welcome him. After the last of them had left, he too found his way.